I'm Jason Bilz. This is my wife, Bridgette. We've been married for almost 20 years. In September, it'll be 20.
Well, we worked together at a call center in college, and that was way back in 2001. We didn't have cell phones, so we started old school.
Well, I was her boss, and that's one thing that I don't think she probably wanted me to say. But yeah, I was technically her boss, but she was very sweet. She was quiet, but she was a very sweet girl.
Well, I remember we'd be on the phone and this tall guy was over there just screaming, talking so loud. And I was like, I would love to marry a guy like him one day. And look.
I was raised Catholic. So I was baptized as an infant in the Catholic Church. We went every Sunday. We did the Sunday school thing. I was an altar boy. I went all the way through high school, and then I got pretty involved in high school sports. So I used that as an excuse to slowly get away from the church. And by the time I went to college, I walked away from the faith.
I went to church off and on until I was about 10 years old, and then we never went again. I think it was more of a social thing. So we would just go on a Sunday and not think about church again until the next time that we went. So I knew of Jesus, but I just didn't think it was for me. I didn't think I was a sinner. I never killed anybody. I don't steal stuff. I just thought I was a good person, and that's enough. And I thought I could do it on my own. COVID
really kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things, just the fear and the lies that I saw out in the world. So I always wanted to search for the truth. I knew that there was a truth out there that I didn't quite understand at that time. So I started reading the Bible. I got into that. We actually went to another local church for about a year. I felt personally at that time that church wasn't for me. And then at that point, Bridgette suggested, well, how about Northside? And the very next Sunday, we went to Northside. And then that's when everything started to change.
Before knowing Jesus, I really struggled with anxiety. I feel like there's a lot of pressure in our area to have it all. So I would just try to act like I had it all together, that I had all the answers, that I didn't have any weaknesses. And it just led to me trying to control everything to fit this image that I had it all together. And as I started studying the Bible with my discipleship group and my community group, I saw how many times we're instructed, don't be afraid, don't worry, don't be anxious, trust in me to provide for you. And so then I just suddenly had permission to let go of that control. And it was really life-changing. Once I surrendered all of my worries and anxieties to the Lord, I just felt free, and I didn't have to worry all the time. And it's so humbling to look around and see that life still goes on without me worrying and stressing out about every little thing.
First and foremost, it's freedom from the fear that the world tells you that you need to feel, and the anxiety. So there was a big lift off my shoulders and a freedom from that. But to go further, I'd say that following Jesus has given me such a purpose in life, and I never understood what God's will for your life really meant. And I do understand that the one thing that I can do and one purpose on being on this earth is to lead my family to Jesus. And that's everything. So one of the things that was really helpful in our walk with Jesus was the community. It started with the Bible study, the men's Bible study, that allowed me to meet some great guys and learn a lot. And shortly after, we were invited to join a community group. I think I'd say that we were both very hesitant, very nervous. We didn't know how this group would interact with us or what they would think of us, because we still felt like we didn't really know much about the Bible. But we showed up, and I couldn't have handpicked a better group of people to help us with this journey, because we got to see all these great Christians that are walking with Jesus and showed us the way, but then we could also see some of the imperfections in their life and how they dealt with it, and how we could help them and they could help us. And we really love them all and appreciate every single one of them.
The main way the community affected me was I joined a discipleship group, and it's 4 of us. We meet every other week. We've been meeting for over a year now, and I had never had a relationship based on the Lord before, and so it was just so refreshing to talk to these women about something other than themselves. And I feel like it led to deeper friendships, because when we get together, we're not glorifying ourselves, we're glorifying the Lord. And they taught me how to be vulnerable, and we share what's really going on in our lives, and we pray for each other, and they've just had a huge impact on my walk.
We went in thinking that everybody would have it figured out. And when we attended, and everyone was so open and honest about some of the trials and tribulations that they had in life and how they dealt with it, we learned how to deal with some of those adversities in the same way. Maybe we didn't get as angry, right out of the gate, or we showed a little bit more patience or kindness with our kids when they didn't do exactly what we wanted them to do. And it just trickled down, and it made it for a much more peaceful home and existence for all of us. It was just kind of night and day difference. So last year in 2024, I was baptized. It was an interesting journey for me because I was baptized as an infant in the Catholic Church. So it was an internal dialogue that I had that was very interesting on whether it was something that I needed to do, and this is going to be my next step in obedience. There was also some concerns about whether I would upset family members and maybe offend them. And it was just after talking to some great friends, in our community group, and just praying on it and thinking over it, I knew that that was something that I needed to do in my next step for myself, and step of obedience, but also to lead my family and lead by example.
Well, I find Jason to be more peaceful than he was in the past since he surrendered to Jesus, and that really comes through in his parenting. Also in our marriage, like yesterday I was getting fired up about something, and instead of joining me, he brought biblical knowledge and tried to talk some sense into me. So that's changed. Another way he's changed is that he'll talk to anybody about Jesus. All of our friends have seen the change in him, and he's not afraid to tell them why he's changed and just talk about Jesus to anybody. I think he talked about Jesus to his doctor the other day.
The changes in her and Bridgette have been amazing. Now, she was a great mom and wife before, but after and since then, she's just much more patient with us, with me, and with the kids, which is difficult. We have 2 teenagers. 2 teenagers in the house. It's a lot of chaos, or it can be chaotic at times, but she's more patient, she's more kind, she's gentle with us. It equals a much more peaceful house. And I mean, it's just so much easier to love her. I love her more today than ever. It's true.
Looking back, I wish that I knew Jesus earlier. I think about all the things I would have done differently in my life, all the different decisions I would have made, but I've learned that it's not too late. He is there patiently waiting for us to come to him. And I've always heard, you're a child of God, but that it finally makes sense now. He really is our Father. So let's let him do everything that a father wants to do. He wants to provide for us, he'll protect us. He wants us to rely on him completely. So it's so freeing to just stop trying to fight it, stop trying to control everything, and just rely on him to provide for us. It's life-changing. And just glad we've got to go on this journey together.